Disclaimer: the videos on this channel are for entertainment and information only. I'm not a professional or a financial advisor, so don't take anything I say as expert advice. Please always do your own research and make your own choices. Every financial system on Earth runs on a hierarchy of trust. At the top of that hierarchy sits something economists call pristine collateral. Most people have never heard the term, but it might be the single most important concept for understanding where money is headed next. So let's start with the basics and build up from there. When two parties make a deal, a bank lending to another bank, a government settling a trade imbalance, a hedge fund posting margin, they need something to back the promise. Cash works. But cash sitting idle isn't efficient. So instead, the financial system runs on collateral, assets pledged as a guarantee. You hand over a bond, a treasury bill, or some other asset, and that asset says, "I'm good for this." But not all collateral is equal. Some assets can be seized in a dispute. Some can be frozen by a government. Some lose value the moment a crisis hits, which is exactly when you need the most. Pristine collateral is the opposite of all of that. It's an asset that holds its value in a crisis, that nobody can unilaterally freeze or seize, that has deep, liquid markets so it can be sold instantly without crashing its own price, and ideally, that isn't simultaneously someone else's liability. That last point is subtle, but it's the whole game. A U.S. Treasury bond is excellent collateral, deep markets, highly liquid, trusted everywhere. But it's also a liability of the U.S. government. It's a promise. And promises can be broken, frozen, or politicized. We've seen this happen. Russia's central bank reserves were frozen by Western sanctions in 2022. Hundreds of billions of dollars in assets that were assumed to be safe turned out to be safe only as long as the issuer's politics aligned with yours. That event did something quiet but seismic in the world of central banking. It made every reserve manager in every country that isn't a close U.S. ally ask the same question. What do we hold that cannot be frozen by someone else's foreign policy? That question is why gold has quietly had one of its best stretches in decades, bought aggressively by central banks in China, India, Turkey, Poland, and elsewhere. Gold is the original pristine collateral. Nobody issues it. Nobody can freeze it. It has no counterparty. It just sits there, holding value, the way it has for 5,000 years. But gold has a problem in the digital age. It's heavy, slow to move, and expensive to verify and store. You can't settle a cross-border trade in gold bars in 3 seconds. So the search has been on, especially since 2022, for something that is gold's core property. No issuer, no counterparty risk, can't be frozen, but with the settlement speed of the internet. This is where the conversation gets interesting, and where I want to be careful, because this is where a lot of online content stops being analysis and starts being speculation dressed up as inevitability. There's a growing theory in parts of the crypto world that a specific digital asset, XRP, is being positioned as exactly this kind of neutral, pristine collateral for a future global settlement system. The argument goes like this: XRP has a fixed, pre-mined supply. It isn't anyone's liability. There's no central bank or company that owes you something when you hold it. It settles in seconds rather than days. And it was originally designed specifically to act as what's called a bridge asset, something that sits between two currencies for an instant, just to facilitate a transfer, rather than something you're meant to hold as a long-term investment. Those are real, factual properties of the asset and the network it runs on. I want to be clear about that. What's far less settled is the leap from "this asset has properties that resemble pristine collateral" to "this asset has been selected by global financial institutions to become the pristine collateral of the next monetary system." That second claim is a theory. It is not something the Bank for International Settlements, the IMF, or any central bank has stated. We'll dig into exactly what those institutions have actually published in Part 2, and it's both more boring and more interesting than the theory. Remember to gently tap the like button and hit up the subscribe button and turn on the notifications so that you will be in the loop when a new video is out. For now, here's what I think is worth sitting with. The underlying problem is real. The world's reserve system is built on an asset, the US dollar, that is also a political tool of the country that issues it. That tension isn't going away. Every major economy that isn't aligned with Washington has spent the last few years actively de-risking from dollar dependence, not abandoning the dollar, but diversifying away from total reliance on it. That's not speculation. That's observable in central bank gold purchases, in bilateral trade agreements that bypass dollar settlement, and in the BIS's own research agenda, which we'll get into next time. What's far more speculative is which asset, if any, ends up filling that role at scale, and whether it's a single asset at all rather than a basket, a tokenized version of existing reserves, or something that doesn't exist yet. The honest answer is nobody knows, including the people on YouTube who sound very certain. What I want this channel to do differently is hold both of those truths at once. The problem is real, the institutions are actively working on solutions, and the specific solution that gets adopted is genuinely unknown. If you're holding any asset because you believe it's been quietly chosen as the future reserve currency of the world, you should understand that belief for what it is, a bet on a contested, unresolved theory, not a fact you can bank your financial future on. In Part 2, we go straight to the source. What has the BIS actually proposed? What does the IMF's own research say about tokenized settlement assets? And does any of it line up with the Bancor proposal John Maynard Keynes made in 1944, a supranational currency designed to do almost exactly what we've been describing today? That's next. If this kind of grounded, source-checked breakdown of monetary theory is useful to you, subscribing helps more of it reach people instead of the louder, less careful version of this conversation. Remember to gently tap the like button and hit up the subscribe button and turn on the notifications so that you will be in the loop when a new video is out.